This is one of the video lessons from our free Bible study course, all about tracing repetition in the Bible. You can find the full course titled Introduction to Repetition on our website, which includes practice exercises, homework, quiz questions, and self-reflection. Let's jump in. Welcome to this first session, all about biblical repetition. We're going to be looking at repeating words. And again, when something repeats in the Bible, it's repeating for emphasis. It's significant to the point of that passage or the author's intended meaning behind the words that he's saying. So, for example, in Psalm 136, we're going to see a specific statement repeat all the way through this chapter for 26 verses. And some questions we should be asking is, number one, what's being repeated? Number two, how long is it repeated? Where does it begin and where does the repetition end? And I'll let you know right now, it ends in verse 26. And then the other question is, hey, what's the significance of this repetition? So we are going to be looking at repeating words, but these words actually come together to form one statement that repeats over and over. So I'll show you what I mean. Psalm 136, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. And now the psalmist will explain in what way God is good, or an example of God's goodness. God's steadfast love endures forever. Now you're going to see this statement right here repeat 26 times in Psalm 136. That's a lot of times. So let's break down each component of the statement. That's God's, his steadfast, loyal, faithful, committed, enduring. That kind of love that God has, it actually endures, or it lasts forever. When everything is said and done, what is left is the love of God. So we should be thinking about when something repeats like this, it's not just one word, it's actually a set of words in combination to form this statement. His steadfast love endures forever. And each time this statement repeats throughout Psalm 136, it's going to be emphasizing something different. Sometimes God's steadfast love enduring forever is the reason God does something, or it's revealing why God does something, or it's proof of a statement that comes before it. So you're going to notice with each verse, it's going to end with, his steadfast love endures forever. That's going to stay the same. What's going to change, though, is what comes before it. So in verse 1, it's give thanks to the Lord. Why? He's good. Why? His steadfast love endures forever. So God's steadfast love in verse 1 is the reason why, or one of the reasons why we should give thanks. One of the evidences of his goodness. Let's see if that carries over into verse 2. Give thanks to the God of gods. Why? His steadfast love endures forever. So we not only see this repeating statement, but we see the repeating idea of thankfulness. Give thanks. Give thanks. He's the God of gods, though, here. He's not just good. He is the true and only exclusive, eternally existent God of creation. He's the only one. There's none beside him. So because of that, we should give thanks. And also, it's his steadfast love that sets God apart from all other gods of the cultures and the nations of people. So we want to be thinking about when something repeats, whatever it's surrounded by. For example, in verse 1, it's surrounded by thankfulness and God's goodness. In verse 2, it's surrounded by thankfulness and God being the true and only God. So we want to be thinking about in what ways do these ideas overlap? What are the similarities? What are the differences? What are these things trying to communicate, right? So far in the first two verses, his steadfast love enduring forever becomes the reason for something. Give thanks. Once again, we see thankfulness. To the Lord of Lords, his steadfast love endures forever. There's the reason. But he's not just good or the God of gods. He's the Lord of Lords. So again, the questions we're asking is what repeats? Where does the repetition begin and end? And what is the significance of this repetition? What is the point that's being made? What's the reason? Well, look at verse 4 as well. To him who alone does great wonders, for or because his steadfast love endures forever. So God doing great wonders is connected now to his steadfast love. Almost like his great wonders are evidence of his love, or rather his love is the reason for his great wonders. Now I want to think about, how do the great wonders connect to our thankfulness, or God being the Lord above lords and the God above all gods? How do these ideas connect? Since I know that this statement is going to repeat at every verse, I want to ask, how does the preceding statement connect to each verse? Thankfulness, God doing great wonders. In verse 5, God making the heavens. In verse 6, God spreading out the earth. Each of these different statements about God is separated by his steadfast love endures forever. It almost becomes the way to start the next verse or to end this initial statement. You know, he does great wonders, his steadfast love endures forever. By understanding he made the heavens, his steadfast love endures forever. Every statement is followed by this reminder that God's steadfast love endures forever. So what you get to do is think through some of the self-reflection questions and the questions about this passage, and then you get to go and do some homework and think through why we see repeated words in each of the verses that I'm going to give you to work through. And then in the second session, we're not just going to look at repeating words. I know in this specific example, we looked at more of repeating statements. We'll see repeating words very clearly in John 15. But for now, in session 2, we're going to get to repeating phrases in Matthew chapter 5. So I will see you there. Do the homework, and thanks for watching.